Hello everyone, it's Lillian here from Stamper's Niche. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Spruce Grove, Alberta, and so glad you could join me today, whether you're joining me live or later watching the replay. I'm very, very happy that you're here. I truly love to hear from you and love it when you make comments and let me know how you've used the project or if the project has inspired any other idea. Keep in touch, and now let's move on to the project. Well, sort of the project, the lead up to the project. I'm going to talk about the new mini catalog towards the end and show some other samples. But right now today, I wanted to talk about what's called the beginner's brochure. Because our catalogs are so big, they contain so many things, they can be overwhelming if you're new to stamping. Stampin' Up! Brought out this brochure called Make Beautiful Things. We'll show you how. And I included this with your annual catalog, so if you've lost it or you don't have one, let me know and I will pop one in the mail to you, or you can pick one up. But this is just a very small little brochure with ideas, and some of the samples in here or some of the items in here are from the annual catalog and some are not. So we will just talk about that later. So the other thing is to watch for these icons, tips, videos, ordering, collections, and talks a little bit about the kind of stamps we have, the cling and the photopolymer. The cling are your red rubber, and they cling to the block. The photopolymer, you can see through them, and they also cling very well to the block. So what they've done is they've done 2-page spreads, and this particular one is talking about coordination, and there's a video and there's an idea, and they show these samples, and then if you were going to make these cards, these are suggestions that they have. And here are the Four Seasons floral. So this particular stamp set is not in the annual catalog, but it coordinates with the stamp set in the annual catalog, and it also coordinates with the it coordinates with the Four Season floral stamp set, but it also coordinates with the Memories and More cards, so that you can make quick and easy cards. So these are the things that are listed here. So very easy to see it at a glance. This one we're going to come back to because this is the one I am focusing on today, and it is not in the annual catalog. This is exclusive to this little catalog, but it's available all year. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. This one is called the Zany Zebras. So we see this in the annual catalog, and there are actually a few things in the annual catalog that will coordinate with it. And then these are your samples, and again the things that you would need to create these samples. And in this case they're using the watercolor pencils. So just another quick way to get lots of different colors inexpensively if you're just beginning. This is from the annual catalog, and so these samples are not found in the annual catalog. It's expanding your idea bank, and on this one we're using markers to color the blocks. So another way of using color. This is a kit. This again is found in the annual catalog, but it's an all-inclusive card kit. Some of the card kits have the supplies, but you buy the stamps separately. This one is all-inclusive. It even has an ink pad, a little mini ink pad. We call them Stampin' Spots. It has the block, the stamps, all the little embellishments you need, even the glue dots and dimensionals. You can read all about it here, but it's just a fun, bright, happy little kit that would be great whether you're a beginner or an advanced stamper. You could have lots of fun with that. And then over here is this kit that you can order and have it come to your door once a month. It is a super kit, has everything you need. It's much like this one here, all inclusive. Your first one would have a block in it as well. It's usually a D size, but then you would also have a Stampin' Spot, and each month it's a different Stampin' Spot, so you wouldn't get doubles, at least for a year. And then you would have ideas, and then if you go onto Pinterest or Google Paper Pumpkin, you can find tons of alternative ideas too. And then right here is get the basics. So here is if you're entering this stamping journey, which is a fun creative journey, you would need a trimmer. You need to be able to trim. You need scissors. You need Stampin' Seal. So you need adhesive. Mini glue dots are an excellent alternative adhesive for putting on all kinds of bits and pieces, and a Simply Chamois for cleaning your stamps. So that is what's included in this little brochure. And so I'm going to talk about that later. I'm going to get right to the project here. So let's find that. There we go. So this is the stamp set I'm going to use today. And I just love it. Look, you've got your different melon pieces. At first I had to look at that, but that is your stem for your banana, I believe. There are faces, which I am often looking for even to put on pumpkins or all kinds of other things. So that's a good little tool to have in your arsenal. So there's a small face that would fit in there if you wanted, or you could use it on your own. There's a slightly larger one that would fit in here, as would this. This fits in here, so you've got that kind of thing, smile. So, and then you've got your samples. So let's just look at today's project. I showed you, no, I've buried today's project somewhere. I showed you yesterday online. This is a little gift card holder. And I noticed that I've got my popsicle stick in there a bit crooked, but I guess it's starting to melt. And then it looks like there's a little bite out of it. And then in the back is a gift card pocket like that. So I'm going to show you a couple of variations today. The card I'm going to show you today is going to be 1/4 of an inch taller, just because sometimes when you put this in, you can see a corner here, and I didn't like that, so I altered that a little bit. And I will also show you how to adapt this to make a card. So there we go. So let's put this to the side. This again is the stamp set that we're using. So first of all, we're going to work on the gift card holder itself. So you're going to need a piece of Whisper White that's 2 3/4 by 2 1/4, and that's going to be for the pocket at the back. And then you need a piece of, we're using Whisper White, that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and scored at 2 3/4. So if you ever wonder, how do I find the middle when I'm doing that kind of thing? I do one of two things. I want the middle of 5 1/2. 5 1/2 is the same as 5.50. So I'll bring in my calculator and put 5.50 in, just like this. 5.50, and then divide by 2, and 2.75. 75 is 3/4, so 2 3/4. The other way you can find the middle of a piece of paper is you can take some scrap paper that is that size, fold it in half, and measure it like that, and 2 3/4. So 2 different ways to find the middle of a card. So I'm going to take this off and bring in my paper trimmer. This piece of cardstock, by the way, is exactly 1/4 of a full sheet. So you could make 4 of these from 1 sheet of Whisper White. You could make 4 of the basics. So get the cutting tool out of the way. I just want to score. So I'm going to score right here. And lift that up so it's scored. Fold it in half and bring in my bone folder and do that. Now what I'm going to do before I do any of the coloring or anything, I'm going to bring in the detail. No, first of all, sorry, back that up. I wanted something that looked like I was taking a bite out of it. Now I could have freehand cut it, but I'm not the best at that, so I looked through my punches, and this heart punch is from the Heart Pack in the annual catalog. This kind of looks like bite marks to me. So all I'm going to do is take a bite out of the corner opposite the fold of my card. Then I'm going to bring in this detailed trio punch, and this punch does 3 different kinds, but one is that it does corner rounding, and I'm going to round the corners of all the rest. So I'll bring that in, that, and do the other 3 corners, so it looks more like an ice cream treat. Notice that I was pushing in the middle of this, because often we push at one end, but because we've got 3 different punches working here, it seems to work better in the middle, and I like to get good pressure and use both of the palms of my hand. While we're punching, why don't we finish punching everything else? I'm going to bring this in, and because it's going to fit down here, I need to punch the bottom 2 corners. So we'll do that. This punch is a little bit easier because the other one was a double thickness. Like that. Have you ever stepped on one of these stuck in a carpet or something, and that can really hurt your foot? And I want to take a little dip out of here. Just, you can use a circle punch if you have one, but most of our small circle punches have retired. So I looked at my punches. This has a little bit of a circle, and I'm just going to I just want a little bit. Hopefully I've got it somewhat centered. Yeah, I think it's good enough. Wow, that jumped. And there. So now I've got my punching done. I can get my punches out of the way. I can come back in here. Now on this one, I used sort of light colored ink because I had been inspired by a paper pumpkin kit. But now I'm going to use some darker ink. And I don't know, do you have a favorite ice cream treat? I have several. In fact, any ice cream treat is a favorite for me. Now you can, but leave a comment if you have a favorite ice cream treat. Today I'm going to go with darker, more vibrant colors here. I'm going to go with Magenta Madness and Coastal Cabana and Daffodil Delight. And I'm bringing these colors in. I chose these colors because several years ago our great nephew informed us that the rainbow popsicles were the very best. And do you know what? He was right. Rainbow popsicles were the very best. So there are vibrant colors. Now I am going to color them with our sponge rollers. And our sponge rollers come with 2 handles and 4 sponges. I keep mine in a bin. And then when you're finished, you just wash them. They might stain, but that's not going to come in your next project. So how do you put them together? You see this little thing here? It just goes in here and then there, and you've created your sponge roller. And when you're done, you just take them apart. I put labels light touch on all of mine because when I was doing classes or even for myself, sometimes I got a little ambitious, so I impressed rather hard, and they work better with a light touch. So this one here, I am going to I like to start with my lightest, and I was getting backwards. So, and I want my lightest at the top here. So I'm going to just make sure this is in there. When I ink my roller up, just lightly, I'm running it. No, I'm not running back and forth because then I would only be inking half of my roller, and I want to ink the whole thing. So just roll right through, lift, roll right through, bring it back, lift like that. And then I always start off of my paper a bit and start to come down. And at first it looks like nothing much is happening. It is. So just keep adding your layers, and it's very therapeutic. And I'm using 3 colors, so I think I'm going to go about a third of the way down, but I am going to come back and overlap after. So now I'm using the Coastal Cabana, doing the same thing, inking it up, and I'm going to start off the paper and overlap and fill in the whole middle section. And I'll start coming this way, and you see how it's starting to build up. Now, if you don't have the sponge rollers, you can use your daubers or your sponges or whatever. It's just another way of adding ink to a card. And I'm going to just stop there for a minute and come back. Oh, I love how these colors are coming together. So much fun. This is looking like summer to me. Now, do you see how it looks like there's not much happening, but as you keep building, it gets more and more intense, and you can stop and start with whatever intensity level you like. And after I'm finished this card, I will be doing I'll do another card showing a variation. Okay, I'm going to overlap just a bit, and then I'm going to do draws for prizes. So hang in there. We have a couple of prizes to draw for today. One is for those who shared last week any of my posts. And if you share, do make a comment, leave a comment that you shared, because on quite a few people's pages actually, ooh, I like that, it won't tell me who has shared, so I won't know that you've shared unless you've left me a comment. Look at those colors. Oh, I love them. And look at how the green, there's a little color lesson for some of the people in your life. So I can remove this. No, I'll just keep that scrap paper. I'm going to put them to the side, and I will just clean them by running them under the tap and letting them air dry. I can close this one right now, but I'm going to keep these 2 colors because I took the little smile word here and the bigger face, and I'm going to do something with that. And bring in this because it's photopolymer. I need that cushion, or it works better with the cushion. On this one here, I use the melons, that kind of thing. So I'm doing a slightly different variation. So the face I am going to do in Melon Mambo, and I am just going to randomly stamp faces around. And the reason I chose this little face is because I wanted the smile word, and it went together perfectly. Of course, it's Stampin' Up. Whoops. Oh, well, I'll put a... I meant to have that go off the edge and got a little carried away, but I'll have smile go off the edge. So it looks like the bite was happening. And again, I'm just going to keep turning my paper, not overthinking this random stuff. Maybe one more, just catch an edge up there. There. So that's the front of my gift card holder. Now I want to do the pocket that's going to hold the gift card. So if you noticed here, that's what I did there. And I'm just going to do the same thing, random stamping, just to make it more interesting. Sure, that's good. And bring in the smile. I'm really mucking up these little stamps. I don't like mucking up my block, but so far so good. It's so easy to catch an edge, but I am just using a light touch Little stamp, little pressure when you're stamping. Big stamp, big pressure. That's a good little saying to say to yourself when you're doing it. So I'm going to stop there. Put that aside, put this aside, and start to build. Now, what you want to do is to hide the end of this stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the stick in here, and I'm going to hold it down with mini glue dots to begin with, and then I will use adhesive to stick it together. So I'm going to put 2. That will stop it from going cockeyed. And I'm going to put 2 on the other side too. If I can pick it up, might have to use my take your pick tool to pick it up. There we go. So this is where you can use your grid paper. So that's approximately the middle, I think. Let me count squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Solid one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, so it needs to be, there we go. And now if I line my stick up, I love grid paper. If I line my stick up with that, it should be pretty much in the middle. There we go. Press down. Now, I am going to use, I would either use, well, I will use Seal Plus. I was going to use my handy dandy green glue, but Seal Plus would also work, or tear and tape. The reason you want a strong adhesive is because you're kind of flattening it, but this is of course 3-dimensional, so you want to have something that's a little stronger. And I'm going to, this Seal Plus is marvelous stuff, by the way, folks. And I'm being very generous because that popsicle stick will put pressure on it. So now we'll fold it over and press down like that. So now we have, can you just imagine a group of these stuck in a little vase or a little styrofoam or something? So there's the front. The back, we want to put this on, and we want to leave enough room for a gift card. Where did my gift card go? Here it is over here. And it's a fairly tight little squeeze. So what we're going to do is bring in the multi-purpose adhesive. And we're just going to run it right, very thin, because we don't want it to ooze out. But we're going to just do a very narrow strip down there. I don't worry too much about the corners. You want this so this gift card holder doesn't fall out the bottom, and this so it doesn't fall out the sides. But other than that, it's too big to slip out a corner anyway. So I don't worry about it too much. There we go. And now we're just going to line up the edges, press it down, and let it sit for a few minutes. It dries pretty quickly, but whoops, I can see some of it from down here. Press it up. There we go. And I could always sponge, if there's too much white showing, I could have sponged it or run the brayer over it. It's not bad, but what you can do is, you know, add a bit of color there. So there it is, and I'm going to come back to it towards the end, but I want to show you the alternative one. This is one that I used to make with kids' classes. So I'm starting with the same size paper, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 scored at 2 3/4. And then I've got, because I want to make a creamsicle this time, and I've got some Calypso coral, and this is cut just to cover the front. So it is cut at 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So there we go, like that. This time I want it to be a card. So I want to be able to write on the inside. So To do that, I'm going to put my popsicle stick between this cover and this. Do you see how that's going to come together? So basically we're going to follow the same steps. I'm going to bring my detailed trio in and, whoops, no I'm not. I'm going to bring my heart and take the bite out. And I would not use all 3 layers in a punch. That's just a bit too much. So what I'm going to do is take a bite out of my Whisper White card. And I, of course, want it to line up. So I will go like that. And then I know where I want the bite out of. Here. So if you're ever wanting to do a bite, this is like if you're making a cookie card or something, this is a great way to do it and have the punch do the work for you. So we're doing pretty good. Yeah, we are. All right, so I've got those 2. Now I'm going to round my corners. And I like to do the bite first because sometimes then it helps me remember which corners to round. So this is just a repeat. Rid of those before they fall on the floor. Now I'm not even going to stamp on this one. What I am going to do though is I am going to sponge around the edges, take some Calypso Coral ink and a sponge, and I am going to go like this and add that dimension. Like that. Now, if you were wanting to stamp some words on here, now would be the time to do it. So, wishing you a slice of happiness, you're 1 in a million. I think I'm going to go with wishing you a slice of happiness. There we go. Now remember, when you mount photopolymer onto your, it's good to put them with the stamping side down, the flat side up, and pick them up with your block that way, just because they don't get stretched. They are keeping their natural shape that way. And I'm going to just bring in some black. And what did I do with my, oh, I see it. I was looking for my mat to stamp on. Bring that in, get it straight. I have a better chance of being straight if everything's nice and straight. There we go, wishing you a slice of happiness. And then what I'm going to do is bring this in. The stick is going to go between these 2 layers, and then I still have a card to write on. So again, I am going to use my glue dots, repeat that process that I showed you earlier. So if you are looking for crafts to do with kids, this is actually a good one. They have so much fun with this one. They can do lots with it. Their imaginations go all over the place. They will make all kinds of ice cream treats, trust me. And maybe a few you've never heard of. But it's just a lot of fun to do with kids. Or give kids. So now I am going to do my Seal Plus. Whoops, drove off the edge there. Oh goodness, this always works perfectly for me. There we go. I think I'm putting too much pressure and getting too upright. It likes to be There. That's likely overkill, but that's okay. Oh, do you know what? I wish I had put a face on there. It's sticky now, so here, I'm going to put it on here. I am going to clean my little smiley face. And I am going to bring in my Calypso Coral. There, that's good. All right. Now peel it off of here. I love my silicone mat. And let's line things up the best we can. There we go. Now if you notice there's a bit of white poking through, I don't worry about that. I just bring my sponge back in and ink those edges, and it just blends it right in. So this is what I was talking about with the other popsicle one too, the rainbow popsicle one. And if you say, oh, I wish I'd done more there, then close your card up and you can still add more ink there. Sometimes sponging is just so much fun to do, you want to keep going at it. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Got a bit of sticky there, I'll have to peel that off. And there is our second card. You can open it like that. So we made this card here, which will hold a gift card. You can slide it in like that, and now, yeah, it hides down. Or like that. Oh, we need some ribbon. I didn't bring any ribbon over for this one. I'll add that later. But here we've got, I was using Magenta Madness here. So here is the ribbon. I can tie a knot, which is what I did in wherever the original went. Oh, here it is. I just used some white and tied a knot. But here, I'll live dangerously on camera and tie a bow this time. So we've got the coordinating ribbon. We could always add embellishments and jewels or whatever, because everything coordinates with Stampin' Up! Actually, wouldn't that look good with a couple of like magenta glue dots or something there? There's my scissors. And there we go. There's a fun gift card holder, right like that. And here's a creamsicle card. And I'll add stuff on the inside. And here's a more pastel gift card holder. So those are the projects today. So thank you so much for joining me. I want to show you a few other things. I have our daughter's birthday is coming up, and she loves sparkly things, and I forgot to bring the rainbow paper out. But I've shown you before the rainbow paper, and that paper is so gorgeous that it's really, really hard to cut into. But I forced myself to do it, and I made a couple of cards using the triangle dies and the rainbow paper. And how many of you would like to make this card on another Facebook Live? I think I'm going to have to. I did one with the white base, like this, with black printing here, and then I did one with the black base, and then did the rainbow type of coloring here. So which one would you like to see me demonstrate? You let me know, and maybe that'll be a new Facebook Live coming up. So just a couple of things. Remember, if you placed an order during July and a $60 or more order and earned bonus coupons, you want to use them this month, so don't miss out on doing that. If you are doing an online order, my current hostess code is right here. And I'm still going to do a draw, so hang in there. The other thing is, if you don't have this catalog yet, please let me know. I will get it to you. And I am offering That's to remind me to do the draws because I have a tendency to forget. And this is also to remind you that I am offering a class on this page right here, on this bundle, Everything Essential bundle. And what that is it's this stamp set. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stamps and this punch. And there'll be at least six projects. And so if you want option A, for $55, you'll receive this bundle. You'll receive the Make and Take packets for 6 projects, the instructions, access to the video, whether you do it Facebook or YouTube, and just to remember that this price is for front door pickup. If you need it mailed to you, we'd have to add postage on. If you're a demonstrator and already have this, or if you've already ordered this, and you just want the instructions and the access to the video, you can purchase that packet for $20. So I do need you to register by tomorrow, the end of tomorrow, so that I can get the orders in. So do let me know if you're registering or not, and if you want it. Payment. Oh yes, payment is by cash, check, e-transfer, or credit card at the time of registration, please, because I do have to pay for the stamp set. Now, what you've been waiting for those of you who shared last week and let me know that you shared, we're doing a draw for the in color dots. So can you imagine, actually, let's do a side trip, some of these in color dots on here? I think there's potential. So anyway, let's see who is going to receive the in color dots in the mail. And it is Marg G. So Marg, these are coming your way. And there was another draw last week for anybody who placed an order between the time of my mini catalog kickoff Facebook Live and Sunday night. Your name went into a draw to receive these in the mail. And so let's see who is going to receive that. Rosemary B. Congratulations, Rosemary. You're going to receive those in the mail. So thank you so much, everyone. I think I've covered everything. If not, I'll have to put it in the blurb somewhere. But thank you for joining me. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.